Hey everyone, Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. As always, we got another massive part here, but before we get into that, Corey Childry, thank you very much for the support over on Patreon. And also, analytics are very important, so please take a look at these numbers down below, and don't forget to drop a comment and a like to help fuel the algorithm for the video. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that way you'll never miss another upload. And if you want to support us even further, consider becoming a YouTube channel member or a patron. You get early access to all the things I place here on YouTube and exclusive access to content that I don't place on the main channel. But with all that being said, let's get into What If Ash Won the Hoenn League, Part 16. I hope you enjoy. We begin today's part with our heroes as they are traveling in the southwestern seas of Hoenn. They are on the way to Ash's 7th gym badge in Dewford Island. However, this isn't a time of celebration as the tension in the group can be cut with a knife. Now, we flash back to the day of the super contest in Slateport. The group is standing around Ash and his friends. Drew is accusing Max of being the one to steal Ash's balls. May asks what Drew is talking about, to which the boy claims Drew is lying. He is the one that stole the balls. Why else would he have them? This causes the coordinator to become irritated with Max, stating that he would never stoop to something so low as to take someone else's Pokemon. If he wanted to knock Ash out from the competition, then he would just face him on the battlefield. But Max sticks to his guns. This puts May in an awkward position as she does not know who to believe. But things are quickly brought to a halt when Officer Jenny states that they're going to solve this right now. The center has security cameras, and they're going to go see who took the balls. This causes Max to gulp as he grabs May by the arm and states that they should leave now. She has her final ribbon, so there's no need for them to stay in Slateport any longer, so they need to head home until the grand festival starts. But Jenny puts a stop to that right there, telling the boy that no one is leaving until this matter is resolved. Max freezes in place as Officer Jenny and Joy disappear, only to reappear less than a minute later. "Young man, you have some explaining to do," Jenny scolds. This causes Max to backtrack as much as possible, trying to shift the blame to everyone except himself, even stating that the reason he did it was because Ash didn't deserve another ribbon. He only cares for himself. All the danger that he put them into, all that he has taken from us, from me. However, May puts a stop to this. "That's it, Max. I'm done with you," the girl yells. "All you do is cause problems for everyone. I've always tried to see things from your side and do my best to support you as Mom and Dad had asked me to, but you've gone too far this time." May then turns and walks to the phones to make a call. Jenny scolds the boy. "You took valuable time from us, and if a real emergency had happened and someone got hurt, that would be on you for the blame. You should be ashamed of yourself, young man." She then turns to Ash, asking if he would like to press any charges on Max, and she can take him down to the city lockup since he wants to steal from everybody. But Ash realizes Jenny is just trying to scare the boy, which is working as Max is now in tears, with him shaking that he doesn't want to go. Ash tells the officer no. He's glad that he got his Pokemon back, so no punishment will be needed. Our hero then thanks Drew. Even though they've never really seen eye to eye, he really came through when Ash needed it. Drew tells the boy that he doesn't like when people get cheated out of something they've worked hard for, even if they aren't the best. So he's gonna let Ash in on a rumor that he heard. Drew then leans in, whispering into Ash's ear. This causes the boy's face to change. "Are you sure?" he asks. Drew says, "It's just a rumor. I'm not sure if there's any truth behind it, so you'll have to hurry, as the window will soon close." Ash thanks him as he runs off, leaving Max with Brock, but the breeder doesn't want to speak to the boy. After all Brock did for him, and this is the stunt that he pulls, so he just remains silent till May returns. "Max, we are leaving now," she yells. This was the last thing that anyone said to the boy as we move to the current time and the group can see the site of their next destination on the horizon, Dewford Island. Ash seems to be impatient as he tells Milotic to hurry. He wants to get to the gym battle so that way he can get it out of the way, as he isn't sure when it will start. May asks why Ash is so on edge. The boy states that Drew told him that sometimes Dewford Island holds special contests, one that only happened every couple of years, but it's never for sure. It's always the last one of the season, so the boy is hoping that if they are doing it, he will still have time to enter. Hearing this, May grows quiet. She would love a chance to battle in another contest to get some more practice, but she kind of feels guilty for Ash not getting a chance to win his final ribbon, so she secretly decides that she's going to sit this one out. However, this is okay. She has other things to attend to, as she will be meeting with some people that she wasn't planning on until they had gotten back home, and May is pretty sure her dad isn't going to be too happy about what has taken place as she looks at the sleepy town in the afternoon sun. mountain. It doesn't take long for them to reach shore, and Ash takes off running for the Pokemon Center as he needs to get as much information on the contest as possible, considering he doesn't see anything that would resemble any type of contest hall on this island. The boy is in such a rush that he doesn't even recall Milotic, telling Brock to watch it. He'll be back later. The breeder is left speechless as May tells him that she and Max will be meeting their parents at a cafe in town, so she will be back later after she is done. Brock nods as he prepares for a day on the beach because he has nothing else to do. So, in order to do it right, Brock releases all of his Pokemon, telling them that they will be having a day of fun in the sun. Over with Ash, he bursts into the Pokemon Center and runs to the counter. Both him and Pikachu are completely out of breath. This causes Nurse Joy to flinch as the boy had scared her just a little bit. "Can I help you?" she says, a bit put off. "The contest. Is it happening?" Ash says, catching his breath. "Oh, yeah, it is," Joy replies. "It will be in about 7 days' time." "Really? Great," Ash replies. "Well, it looks like I will have to just beat the gym leader. Then we can start training." Nurse Joy asks if Ash needs any of his Pokemon to be looked at, but the boy runs off before he can even hear her. However, he doesn't vanish that easily as we find him at the transfer computer. Ash doesn't want to pull any punches with this gym, so he calls Professor Oak and trades Mawile for Vigoroth. He figures that a quick win is what he will need, and Vigoroth is just a fast-paced battler to do it. Ash then runs out of the center before ending the call, leaving Oak online, wondering what has gotten into the boy. As we follow Ash, we find him on the way to the gym rather quickly. "Okay, Pikachu, Vigoroth, let's get this badge so we can start training for the contest." Ash then takes a step to the door, but as it opens, the boy is run over by a man in board shorts with a surfboard. "Oh, sorry, little dude," the man exclaims. "There's a killer swell and I need to get there before we lose it." "No problem," Ash says, a bit stunned. The man then says sorry once more as he takes off running to the beach. Ash yells back if the man can tell him where he can find the gym leader, but this is when the boy is going to get a very unwelcome surprise when the man yells that he is the gym leader, but the gym is closed for the day, so Ash should come down to the beach and chill out. It will be good for him and his Pokemon. The man then vanishes with Ash processing what was just said. Once the boy realizes what it was, he takes off after him. He will be getting his battle today, no matter what. Now we follow up with May and Max. The two are sitting at a table when a presence can be felt. Suddenly, the boy stands up as his blood runs cold. "You have a lot of explaining to do," Norman says. "But Dad," "But nothing, boy. There are no excuses for what you have done." This tone causes even May to become uneasy around the man. This is where their mom tells Norman that they should hold off on any type of punishment. Let's talk with May first and understand the situation. Reluctantly, Norman sits down, telling Max that he will remain silent unless spoken to. "Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," the boy says as he looks at the ground. Both parents then turn to May and ask her to explain everything that has been happening. May doesn't hold anything back, spilling everything from Max catching a Pokemon with one of her Pokeballs without her permission, to him running off and then them barely finding him when they had gotten to Mauville. "Wait, this has been happening since then?" Norman asks. May nods, causing the man's blood to begin to boil, but their mother calms the leader before telling May to continue. The girl goes on to explain about the events with Team Aqua and Magma, how Ash helped save her, and how Max seems to blame Ash for everything. Then his latest stunt at the super contest. Both parents look at the boy, then to May. "I'm sorry we pushed this on you," Norman says. "It was something I thought would be good for Max, even though your mother told me that Max was too young. But I wanted to believe sometime in the world would be good for him. But I can see that we were wrong. It only made you worse." This causes Max's eyes to fill with tears as he struggles to hold them back. Seeing this, Norman is slightly irritated by his son's crying. "You have no one to blame but yourself. Stop that crying," the leader demands. However, their mother steps in, stating that they will take Max to Petalburg. Sometime for him to get away from everyone will be good. Besides, they have been following May's progress in the Grand Festival, so they know that she could use a break so that way she can focus on getting a win. Everyone then stands with Norman looking at May. "I'm proud of you," he says. "Even though you didn't know where you were going to go, you found your path. You've grown a lot since that day you left home." This causes Max to flinch a little bit, as the boy knows that his actions and behaviors have set this path, though he doesn't want to admit it to himself. Max knows that this is his fault. However, the boy is going to have plenty of time to think about this. It is becoming clear to him that his parents were not just here to scold him, but they are actually taking him home. They weren't just saying that to scare the boy. They actually meant it, and it's even driven home harder when Norman yells at the boy to get moving. He's got to get back to the gym, as he's sure that some challengers have been waiting. However, before they go, the leader tells May to keep training. He knows that she will be able to win the festival. The girl smiles at her dad, but this is an easy one. As she watches them walk away, she can't help but to feel a little bit guilty that she turned Max into their parents. The last last thing she sees is her brother looking back at her almost to say he's sorry. He never meant for it to get this far, but it's too late as they board the ferry that will take them back to the mainland. Over with Ash, he has been doing his best to pester the gym leader, who has become known as Brawly, demanding that the leader give him a battle. But Brawly just keeps telling Ash that they can have a battle tomorrow. He should just enjoy today as it is perfect. But Ash is hyper focused on his goals. He needs to get the contest ribbon, and he won't be able to focus on that until he clears the gym. If he waits till tomorrow, then he will lose a day of training. Brawly doesn't understand this, and Ash is becoming rather frustrated with his laid-back attitude. This causes Ash to do something really dumb even by his standards, when he and Vigoroth both head into the water when Brawly comes in only to ruin a good wave that he was riding. This finally gets an emotion out of the beach bum other than chill, as Brawly begins to yell at the boy that what he's doing is dangerous. Somebody could really get hurt, but Ash won't back down, stating that if Brawly just gives him his gym battle, then Ash could beat him and be on his way. Realizing that this kid won't take the hint, and he will probably do something even more reckless, Brawly gives in to the demands of Ash. Okay, you want a battle? Then fine, we'll do it right here on the beach. A 2-on-2. If you win, then you'll get your badge. But if I win, you can't challenge the gym anymore. Ash doesn't see a problem with this, as he plans to win, so he accepts the terms. Smiling, Brawly tells the little dude to take his position. The waves won't be here all day, so he wants to get back to some killer swells. Ash is more than happy, as this is what he has been wanting all day. Now, the two trainers find themselves standing across from each other with a small crowd starting to form. Brawly tells Ash that it will be a standard match. He can change out his Pokemon while the leader cannot. But Ash isn't worried. He is confident that he will get this win. This only increases when Brawly reveals his first Pokemon in the powerful fighting type Machoke. Ash instantly knows that he can match that power with one of his mid-stage evolutions as he declares, Vigoroth, I choose you. The ball of agitation emerges, ready to start the battle. Brawly finds this choice odd, as Ash willingly chose to be at a type disadvantage, so he gives the boy the first move. Ash is happy to take this, ordering a Crush Claw. The leader quickly counters with the Brick Break. However, Machoke is surprisingly overpowered by Vigoroth, using its high tension to push through the move and rake its claws across the chest of its opponent. This causes Machoke to flinch from the pain. Brawly calls to his Mon, asking if it's okay. The mid-stage has no problem standing to face the normal type once more. Ash is feeling confident that they are close to winning, and orders his Mon back on the attack, just as Machoke covers. But the boy is going to find out that his direct way of attacking to save time is going to backfire, as Machoke just stands there waiting for Vigoroth to close the distance. Then, just as it prepares to slash away once again, the fighting type sidesteps it and uses this opening to grab the normal type and secure it in a bind that Vigoroth is unable to break. Ash yells for it to wiggle free, but the more it moves, the tighter Machoke's hold becomes until Vigoroth loses the energy that it always possesses, as the air is slowly squeezed from it. As Ash becomes a blur to it, Brawly calls for a superpower from Machoke that sees a swell of muscles, then a destructive aura enveloping the two, before the fighting type slams Vigoroth into the beach with enough force that the sand bursts up, leaving a cloud of dust. Once it settles, Ash can see that Vigoroth has lost as it lays unconscious and unresponsive. Recalling his normal type, Ash can't believe that they lost so quick. He thought for sure Vigoroth would be able to win that. However, that is okay. He looks to Pikachu, telling the mouse that it's time to bring out the ace. Sparking with excitement, Pikachu jumps in. Brawly prepares for this, as he knows that Machoke using superpower won't be as easy as the last one. The leader ends up being right, as Pikachu is able to overwhelm the mid-stage with an Electro Volley that causes a paralysis, then with a Thunder that takes out Machoke rather quickly. Brawly recalls his Mon, thanking it for the awesome battle that it put on, but it's time the leader stopped playing around, as he sends in his final choice, a Medicham. Seeing this, Ash is feeling pretty confident, as he's battled Grace and hers once before, and he's seen it many times in action, so he feels like this one is going to be in the bag. However, Brawly doesn't seem too worried, as the crowd has now doubled in size, with May and Brock joining, but the battle they are watching is very different than the one that Ash has seen, as Pikachu seems to be leading things by landing Iron Tails and quick attacks. However, what he doesn't see is Brawly leading the battle, demonstrating a level of patience that is far more than what Ash is capable of at this moment. Ash is showing Pikachu's surprise move, and Brawly knows that it will be the chance for him to take control. Almost like clockwork, when Ash goes for his finisher, he leads with an Electro Volley once more, but this time the leader knows how to stop it, as he uses the psychic abilities of Medicham to manipulate the sand on the beach to create a protective barrier around itself. This causes Pikachu to stop dead in its tracks when its special move fails, allowing Medicham to make its move with a high jump kick that is far too fast for the mouse to to dodge at such close range. This sends Pikachu into a rock pile that sits at the head of the beach. However, Ash and the mouse are not done, as it is back up on the move with an Iron Tail that is countered with the Brick Break from Medicham. Pikachu does have the power to push through here, but Brawly just has his Mon divert the attack into the sand with the confusion. Ash yells for the mouse to stand up, but before it can respond, an Ice Punch is brought down on the head of it, leaving Pikachu cratered just like Vigoroth and Ash the loser of this battle. The boy can't believe it. How did this happen? He lost so easily to someone like that? It has to be a mistake. But Ash is awoken from his delusion when Brawly tells the boy that he should learn to be more patient. He could have won the battle if he wasn't in such a rush, but Ash refuses to listen to Brawly as he picks up Pikachu. The leader simply shrugs, stating that a deal's a deal, so Ash won't be able to challenge the gym ever again. Luckily, there's many more gyms in the Hoenn region for him to challenge, and he can still get his 8 badges. This causes the boy to begin to clench up and his eyes well with tears. Brawly sees this and tries to say that it's not that serious, little dude, but if you don't learn to change the way you battle, then the result will be the same. Brawly then turns to Medicham and tells it to grab a board. They have some waves to catch. This is where Brock and Make try to console their friend, but Ash simply ignores them, choosing to suffer in silence as he thinks about what just happened. Later on, after Pikachu and Vigoroth have their wounds looked at by Nurse Joy, the three sit on the beach as the sun is setting. Nothing is being said. They only look out over the ocean. But then something catches the eye of our hero. He sees Brawly with his Pokemon out. All the ones that battled today and some that didn't. They seem to be cheering on one of Brawly's Pokemon that is learning how to surf. A Hariyama, the same Pokemon that Tyson had when they last battled. The truth is that it may be a bit too big to do something like this, as the behemoth keeps falling off every time a wave comes near it. But Brawly doesn't give up. Ash can see this, as well as the look of disappointment on Hariyama's face. However, Brawly shows patience with it, as he tells the Mon not to be discouraged. Even though it evolved, it can still learn to surf again. It just has to get used to the way that its new body handles everything. Hearing this, something clicks in Ash. He realizes what Brawly was trying to tell him was true. Because he was so hyper-focused on the contest, the gym was a second thought. He didn't really take it as seriously, and because of that, the battle was already lost before he had started. Ash then stands up and walks out to the leader. Brawly asks if the boys' Pokemon are okay, to which Ash says they are, but he wanted to apologize to the leader for the way he acted. Ash states that he put him and others in danger by trying to force a battle that he shouldn't have done. He wasn't even in the right mind to have one anyway. Smiling, Brawly tells Ash that it's no problem. He's glad the boy can see what he was doing was wrong. So if Ash would like to come by the gym tomorrow, then they can have a battle, and Brawly is sure that it will be far different than the one from today. However, Ash declines. He states that he wants to focus on the contest, as that's the other reason why he's here in Dewford. He needs one more ribbon, so he will focus on training over the next week for that, and after he has competed in the contest, then if Brawly is okay with it, he will come back to face the leader. So that way, he can focus on the battle that they will have with everything that he's got. Brawly likes the way that Ash is thinking, and tells the boy that he will be on the waves whenever Ash is ready to have a battle. So train hard, as he wants to see what Ash can really do. The boy thanks Brawly for reminding him of the way that he should conduct himself in a Pokemon gym battle. Then he turns and heads back to the Pokemon Center to get a hot meal and a good night's rest, as in the morning, the real work begins. The next morning, Ash is up bright and early to start his training. He has only 6 days until the contest, and he decides that this will be his focus for the time of training. Then he will re-challenge Brawly. The boy and Pikachu finish breakfast before taking off from the Pokemon Center to get started. On the way out, Ash asks his 2 friends if they would like to help him train. May declines, stating that she has some other things that she has to handle, while Brock states that he would love to, but he's on the verge of finishing something that will help out both Ash and May in their contest, so he's going to stay behind for the time being. Ash shrugs, telling them not to take too long. He wants to get some serious training in before the contest before running out the door. Ash makes his way to the beach to where he releases all of his Pokemon: Grovyle, Vigoroth, Milotic, Spoink, and Snorunt. He tells them that they have a lot of training to do. They had a gym battle yesterday, and Ash takes full responsibility for losing, so he intends to work with all of his Pokemon so that they can get stronger. This causes everyone to get riled up, as they all want to train. But surprisingly for Ash, this is the exact opposite of what he had in mind, telling each of his Pokemon that they need to calm down. The first thing that they will do is meditate. Ash feels that they have lost track of themselves, and they need to refocus and recenter. Only then can they move on to the next task. This catches them all off guard, but they each do what they are told. They all close their eyes, trying to focus as they listen to the sound of their trainer's voice. Listen to the the waves flow as they hit the shore and wash back. This was something that Ash had noticed the day before watching Brawly and his Pokemon. They feel the flow of the water and it allows them to work with it instead of changing it. Using this approach, they should be able to find a rhythm that should help them not only in contests but battles too. However, there is one that is having trouble with this. Vigoroth is naturally high-strung, so sitting still is something that isn't in its DNA, causing it to break the meditation several times. This causes the others to get a bit irritated with them on. However, Ash continues the slow and steady approach, talking softly to everyone, but Vigoroth is still having issues with this as the energy it contains within its body is hard to control. This causes another outburst that everyone reacts to. Well, everyone except for Grovyle. It is actually taking Ash's commands to focus on itself and the surroundings. This causes something extraordinary to happen. The grass starter begins to glow in a green aura. Its overgrow has been activated, and the deeper Grovyle focuses, the more intense the aura becomes. The wood gecko is so focused that it doesn't even realize this and isn't snapped out of its trance until Ash hugs it. "Grovyle, you did it," the boy says, only for it to see the glowing aura that it is enveloped in. This causes it to begin to tear up a bit, but its pride won't let anyone see this. Ash smiles. "You see, if we work together, then we can grow far stronger than we ever could alone." The wood gecko looks at its trainer, and for the first time, it actually believes what Ash is saying. Seeing this, Vigoroth sits back down next to Grovyle and begins to meditate. The barrier that it just broke through seems to be infectious, as Ash watches as all of his Pokemon shed any doubts about what they are doing, fully embracing the teamwork mantra. By the end of day 1, Ash has found a new center, as well as all of his Pokemon, but the two that seem to have found the greatest control is Grovyle and Vigoroth. The normal type has calmed to a level that Ash hadn't seen since before its evolution, while Grovyle, on the other hand, pulls Ash and the rest of his Pokemon to a rock at the edge of the beach, only for it to stare at a boulder very intensely for what seems like forever. Ash simply tells Grovyle not to force it. Let the feeling come naturally. Closing its eyes, Grovyle focuses once more, causing its green glow to once again appear. Suddenly, the leaves on its arms begin to glow. But this isn't Fury Cutter like Ash had seen before. This is something new. Pulling out his Pokedex, Ash sees that this is a move called Leaf Blade. Everyone then watches as Grovyle retracts its arms only to swing at a boulder, only for the blade to fade as it completes the attack. But nothing happens. Ash tells Grovyle not to be discouraged. It will take time for its power to fully return, but he will be there every step of the way to support the grass type. The wood gecko nods as they all turn to head back to the Pokemon Center for the night to get some food and rest. They still have 5 days, and none of them want to waste any time. However, as they begin to walk away, a loud thud can be heard. Turning, everyone sees that the boulder slid down from the cut that Grovyle has performed. Smiling, Ash looks at the grass starter, but they say nothing, as they know that things are about to kick into overdrive. Now, we shift over to day 3, and their training is in full swing. While May and Brock have kept their distance, Ash and his Pokemon have been working very, very hard. It's to the point that Grovyle and Vigoroth are having battles. The grass type has regained its ability to use its moves, and the new Leaf Blade is proving to be a powerful attack, rivaling Vigoroth's Crush Claw. This has led to the two becoming exclusive sparring partners, as they are looking to test the endurance of each other. Ash doesn't have a problem with this, but does remind Grovyle not to push itself too hard. While this is happening, an unlikely pair, Snorunt and Milotic, have become training partners as well, but this is because Milotic has taken an interest in one of the moves that the ice type knows, it's Icy Wind, so the Serpent has been doing everything that it can to replicate its movements of the attack, while Snorunt seems to be trying to learn a new technique of its own. This leaves Pikachu and Spoink, as the Psychic type is trying to get a handle on its psychic powers. While its power is great, far beyond its evolutionary capabilities, Spoink is finding it hard to control its power after it gets to a certain point. This causes it to get down, as Ash realizes what the problem is. Spoink is still missing its pearl, and Ash had promised to find it one. However, a very unusual turn of events is going to prove to be most fruitful as Vigoroth and Grovyle take advantage of their lack of supervision from their trainer and begin to push themselves a little too hard. This results in a Leaf Blade and Crush Claw colliding with nothing holding back their power, and the two create a shockwave that catches everyone in its reach, while at its epicenter, both Ash's mid-stages lay knocked out from the power that they had generated. The boy and his two Pokemon quickly rush to check on the two children, only to find the crater that they now lay in. However, Spoink gets excited and jumps straight into the hole, though Ash yells for it to come back. But then the boy stops as he notices something at the bottom. Spoink begins to glow in psychic energy as something emerges from underneath the sand. It's a pearl. Spoink is elated that it finally found one, placing the jewel atop of its head. Smiling, crying, Ash tells Spoink that he's glad that it was finally able to find what it had been searching for. However, as the boy says this and Spoink bounces away, the piglet begins to glow in an evolutionary light that blinds everyone. Once Ash can see, he notices that his Spoink has evolved into its final stage known as Grumpig. The boy is ecstatic at this turn of events as Grumpig simply bounces around all of its companions, happy that it has finally been able to realize its full potential. Ash then asks if the psychic swine can show them its new power. Grumpig turns to the boulder that Grovyle had cut in half, and its eyes begin to glow as the two halves begin to levitate above everyone. Smiling, Ash tells Grumpig that he plans to use it in the next contest for sure, so they have a lot of work to do. This causes the pig to dance around as the boulders that are now hovering above everyone begin to move up and down in tandem with its movement. Ash asks if it can put the rocks down, so no one gets hurt. It does so, sending them flying just off of the beach into the shallows. Smiling, Ash tells everyone that it's time that they got back to work. There's a lot that they have left to do. This brings us to day 5 of Ash and his Pokemon's training. They have made a lot of progress with everyone. Grumpig is settling into its new power and finding that with its evolution, the psychic abilities of the swine have reached a whole new level. It was even able to stop a wave that was crashing down on the group during their training that could have seriously hurt someone. Then there's Milotic. The water type has been hard at work trying to learn Icy Wind from Snorunt, to which it has demonstrated a unique ability to master it. Vigoroth has been working on its focus, allowing the normal type to really be precise with its attacks, as its previous approach was just to see if they can hit. This just leaves Grovyle and Snorunt. The two have been making progress, but it's a bit slower than everybody else. The Ice type is finding it difficult to get a handle on this new move that it's been trying to learn in Ice Beam, while Grovyle is showing that even though it has regained the abilities to use its attacks, it still fully isn't there, and sometimes they fail. It's almost like there's something that it still hasn't let go of, so the Woodgecko and Ash will continue to have to work on everything together. This brings us to the night of day 5. Ash is eating at the Pokemon Center with just him and Pikachu. This is when May joins the boy, which seems like the first time in a week. It's like she's been avoiding Ash, to which he questions her on, since he thought that they were okay since the contest in Pacific Log Town. May tells Ash that they are, but she's been hanging back to let Ash train for the contest. She doesn't want to stand in his way of him getting the 5th ribbon, since he lost his chance in Slateport thanks to Max. So she's just going to sit out this contest and root for him on the sidelines. However, this prompts a response from the boy that May did not expect. Ash tells her that he has gotten over the whole thing that happened with Max. While his Pokemon going missing was a huge problem, they were found, and since no one was hurt, he has decided to let it go. He has a lot of other things that he needs to focus on. The contest, his upcoming final 2 gym battles, the Grand Festival, and the Pokemon League are all things on his list, but he doesn't want to do it if he can't be challenged along the way. And if May doesn't enter the contest, then he doesn't know if he will get the best of the best for the competition. He needs her there, so that way he knows that if he wins, then he has truly earned his spot. But if she holds herself back, then neither will be able to grow, and that's something that a friend wouldn't do. At first, May wonders if Ash is sure about this, but the look in his eyes says it all. The boy wants only the best competition, so she will need to be in the contest. This causes May's resolve to toughen, as she tells the boy that if this is what he wants, then she will bring her very best. So don't go crying when he gets beaten by a girl. Ash chuckles, saying that he'll try not to. With a new understanding in their friendship, the two spend the last day training trying to get ready for the final contest of the season. Both Ash and May have made their choices for each round, and the two are more than ready than they ever have been. However, on this final day, while they are training, there is one member of the group that we haven't seen, and that is Brock. The breeder has been exploring the island, looking for one final berry he needs to complete his master block. This has led him into the deepest parts of Dewford, where he ends up coming across an old man by the name of Swampy. The old-timer has a very unique job here in the Hoenn region that Brock finds very interesting. Swampy is responsible for breeding all of the mudkip that are given out to trainers on their first day. Finding this out, Brock chooses to spend a few days with the old man, as he thinks that it would be good for him to learn from a person as seasoned in breeding as Swampy. Brock and his Pokemon get the chance to see the newly hatched mudkip come into the world, which just reaffirms his decision to become a breeder. However, during this time in the breeding areas, Brock notices a mudkip that is far larger than the others. Swampy explains that this is a wild one that just showed up one day and never leaves. It has been taking care of all of the babies for a few years now, but the old man is sad that it has been too long and he won't be able to give it out to a trainer. However, this is where the old man has an idea, telling Brock that he should take Mudkip. The breeder has all of the knowledge that is needed to care for a Pokemon of its caliber, and Mudkip would make a fine addition to his team. After all, it was responsible for Brock finding the berries he needed in the first place. Brock thinks about this and decides that it may be the right call. So after talking with Mudkip and a brief battle between it and Lombre, Brock is able to finally give it a good home. The last thing that Brock does is let it say goodbye to all the babies before they head back to the Pokemon Center so that Brock can finally finish things that he has been working so hard on. This brings us to the day of the contest. The preliminary rounds are very easy for both Ash and May, as they have a lot of experience in this field. However, they come to find out that Ash was right in May entering. Because the contest is so remote and happens only every couple of years, there really isn't any real competition here. As a result, May is able to get into the finals with the combination of her Beautifly and Combuskin, while Ash secures his spot with Milotic and Grumpig. This results in May and Combuskin versus Ash and Grumpig. The battle starts and the two show that they know each other very well, but May does have a very specific eye for contests, and this allows her to get a very early edge out on Ash in the beginning for an early lead. However, the boy won't be outdone using Grumpig to take advantage. He quickly takes back the lead when using its Psy-Wave to manipulate a Fire Spin from Combuskin, sending it right back at the Fire type for some serious points damage. But this is going to have a very unexpected effect when the mid-stage begins to glow in an evolutionary light, responding to May's Burning Will as it takes on its final stage evolution, Blaziken. This is something Ash wasn't expecting, but the boy is more than happy to meet the challenge. The same as Grumpig. May begins to feel that she will be the victor in this battle, with only 30 seconds left on the clock and a slight lead over Ash. But there is one problem that she will have to face, as Blaziken isn't completely used to its new power yet, and when May gets a little overconfident in calling for an overheat, this gives Ash the opening to use a Light Screen and a Swift combo that causes the Fire-type attack to backfire. Suddenly, flaming stars begin to rain across the battlefield as time is called, and the points are in. This final move gave Ash the slight lead in the end, allowing him to win the contest and for the boy to secure his final ribbon needed. While May is upset that she lost, the fact that Ash won fair and square makes her happy. Plus, she already has her 5 ribbons, and her starter Pokemon fully evolved in the battle. So at this moment, it doesn't really feel like a loss to her as she watches Ash receive that final coveted ribbon. Now they are both set for the Grand Festival. But next time, May will be ready for anything that Ash can throw her way. Now that the contest is out of the way, Ash spends another week of training with his Pokemon. The boy really wants to make sure that he is ready for Brawly. This results in the boy, May, and Brock having an unexpected encounter with the gym leader while they were training in a really remote part of the island. The leader states that he was on his way to one of his favorite training spots, but since Ash is here, he would like a chance to have the rematch now. The boy looks at Brawly, then to his Pokemon. For a second, he contemplates this, wondering if they are actually ready. However, it is Grovyle that steps forward as it wants a chance to challenge the gym. It's been a while since the grass starter has been in one, and it wants to see if it can handle the stress of a battle. This choice is backed by the rest of Ash's Pokemon, so the trainer takes Brawly up on his offer. So we see Ash, Brock, and May follow Brawly to an isolated cave which houses a fighting type Pokemon's dream gym. Brawly states that this place is his own personal playground, and if they look very carefully, they will see why Brawly likes to train here. This is where Ash sees there are holes in the floor. Then, like clockwork, some of them burst with a high pressure stream of water. Brawly states that it is a perfect spot for intense training, as the water can be used to develop offense as well as defense. The leader then asks Ash if he is ready. Looking at Pikachu, Ash says that they are, so he takes his position opposite of Brawly, while one of the battle girls that trains under the leader offers to be the rep. Brawly states that this will be a 3-on-3. Ash can change out while the gym leader cannot. The battle will be over when one side is out of Pokemon to use. The battle is given the start to begin, and Brawly wastes no time in sending in a Pokemon that Ash is unfamiliar with in Grass Fighting type Breloom. Our hero feels that this is his best opportunity for the Grass type to test its power, so he declares, "Grovyle, I choose you." Popping from its ball, the mid-stage lands with the confidence, but no arrogance, which is something that Brock notices right away. It seems Ash was able to get through to it. However, the breeder wonders how far they have made it in their training, but he won't have to wait long, as the two collide in the middle of the battlefield with a Leaf Blade and a Mach Punch, demonstrating their power. They seem even, but Ash thinks that Grovyle may have the speed speed advantage by ordering a quick attack. This is proven to be right, as it outpaces a Mach Punch to land a Leaf Blade from behind, giving it the first damage of the match. But Ash is going to be in for a rude awakening when his rush to get the first damage comes back to bite him, as Grovyle triggers the ability of Breloom, which upon contact it lets out a cloud of dust that catches the grass starter and causes it to fall asleep into La La Land. Not sure of what happened, Ash calls to his grass starter, but Brawly tells Ash about what happened, stating that he should have been a little bit more cautious when trying to engage with his Pokemon. This is where Breloom lets loose with a flurry of Mach Punches that hits Grovyle without prejudice. Realizing that if he doesn't do something, he will lose Grovyle, he recalls the Mon for the time being. Brawly states that this was smart on Ash's part, but to make sure his next choice is a wise one. Ash knows this and needs to focus. What good was their training if he can't even follow it? But the boy has a pretty good idea of what his next choice is going to be. Calling Grumpig, I choose you. The psionic swine emerges with its trademark dance, ready to battle to display its new power. Brawly realizes this could be a problem, so he tells Breloom to be ready. They will have to attack from a distance if they can. With the start of the battle, Ash takes the first move, calling for a Swift to test things. Brawly responds in kind with a Mach Punch that destroys the stars as they close in, but the shattered dust is going to be what Ash was looking for, as Grumpig uses its Psy-Wave to strike Breloom. This causes a problem as the grass type isn't responding to Brawly, but Ash is going to learn another lesson here, when the hole in the floor shoots water into Grumpig's gut at a high pace, causing it to break the attack on Breloom. This allows Brawly an opening that he uses, telling Breloom to use the jets as a boost to increase its Mach Punch that strikes the stunned swine with fury. While this causes great damage, it's not enough to get a win, and once Grumpig recovers, it uses a Swift to send Breloom into the wall of the cave with all the power that it can muster, ending this battle and giving Ash the first win. Brawly recalls his Mon, telling Ash that he was surprised that they were able to push through that. The battle normally comes to an end whenever that type of move connects. The boy says that his Pokemon have a lot of guts, and it will take more than that, but the truth is, it caused more damage than it looks, as Grumpig flinches a bit. Ash questions if it wants to stay in, to which the swine nods. Brawly decides that he's going to match typing, so he chooses to go with the Pokemon that Ash couldn't beat in their last battle, Medicham. The boy takes the first move here, ordering for a Swift to start. However, Brawly has the counter for this by ordering a Detect that causes it to miss. Ash is confused by this, but Brawly quickly explains the reason why, as Medicham uses a move called Mind Reader. The fighting type begins to focus its mind, locking onto Grumpig's. The swine can hear some echoing voices in its own thoughts, but Ash is unaware of this as he orders a Light Screen, trying to avoid any serious damage. However, Brawly's patience is going to show here again, as another thrust of water comes through the holes in the floor. While Grumpig is able to avoid it, Brawly uses it to their advantage once again, as Medicham uses it to increase its next attack in a high jump kick. However, Ash thinks that he can counter this, as if it's missed, then Medicham will be in serious trouble, so he orders Grumpig to use a Confuse Ray that strikes the fighting type. Suddenly, Medicham's eyes go faint as confusion sets in, but this won't stop what's about to happen, as the Mind Reader comes into play, allowing the high jump kick to land true, driving Grumpig into the wall of the cave as it had done to Breloom, knocking it out. What? How? Ash says, but Brawly once again states that remaining calm is what allowed that, since he started with the Mind Reader. Recalling the swine, Ash thinks about what just happened. Realizing that he's in a tight spot, he decides that calm is what he needs to go for, sitting back in Grovyle. Ash figures that with Medicham confused, it may have the time needed for the grass lizard to wake up. This is proven right when Medicham strikes itself, when Brawly makes the first move, causing the fighting type to dance around dizzy as a very familiar sound comes from beneath. Suddenly, both of the Pokemon are hit with the pressurized water. Medicham is knocked out of confusion, while Grovyle is sent into the roof of the cave. This motion causes it to awaken, though a bit groggy, as it does its best to land with little recourse, though the damage that it had taken from Breloom is beginning to show as it is breathing hard. Both trainers know that the next couple of moves will decide this battle, with Brawly taking the first move in an Ice Punch. Knowing that Grovyle can't take this damage, Ash orders a Rock Tomb. This catches Medicham off guard, as it is now encased in a prison of stone. Ash feels like this could be their chance, ordering a Razor Leaf from Grovyle. Charging the attack, the Woodgegger rushes forward to end this, but just as it goes to bring the attack across the stones, the blades fade, preventing any damage. This causes a brief opening for Brawly to respond with the high jump kick that allows Medicham to break free and land an Ice Punch to knock out Grovyle, bringing Ash down to just one Pokemon. Ash recalls his grass type, thanking it for all the work that it put in. He knows they still have a lot of work ahead of them, but he is confident they are moving in the right direction. Brawley comments that Ash has grown a lot since their last battle. He even heard that he had won the Dewford contest, so he hopes to see what else he can do in this final choice in their battle today. Smiling, Ash tells Brawley he's going to see the fruits of their training, declaring, "Vigoroth, I choose you." Brawley knew that this would be the final choice for the boy, but he still feels confident in his lead. So the next battle starts with Ash calling for a Crush Claw. However, Brawley states that the boy is still falling for the same old tricks, as water shoots up and Medicham uses it to dodge so that the Mon doesn't have to expend any energy to avoid it. However, Ash reveals that he was one step ahead of Brawley this time when he tells Vigoroth to use the Crush Claw as an anchor point and pivot into the feint attack. Doing so, the normal type is able to change its trajectory of its movement to land the dark type move completely unguarded on Medicham with all the power that it can muster, knocking the Mon out and bringing this to a 1v1. Maybe I smoked too soon. That was great thinking, the leader states. Smiling, Ash states that it took him a while to get the timing of the water burst down, but now he's got them, and Brawley no longer has the numbers advantage. Smiling, the leader asks Ash if he's confident in that answer, as he recalls Medicham and calls on his final choice for this battle. The Pokemon Ash saw him working with on the beach the day that they lost, Hariyama. Brawley states that this is his oldest Pokemon, so if Ash wants the Knuckle Badge, then he will have to best this fighting type. Ash smiles as Vigoroth beats its chest. "That is what we plan to do, Brawley. Now, use Crush Claw." The normal type rushes in to land the move, but Brawley simply responds by ordering a bulk up that hardens the massive body of Hariyama, reducing the damage it takes. Then, that sound can be heard, with Ash telling Vigoroth to jump, allowing the water to miss it, but Hariyama uses this to his advantage, stepping on the geyser to lift its massive frame off of the ground so it can match Vigoroth in the air. "Now, use Knockoff," the leader commands. Suddenly, Ash watches as his Mon receives a massive hand chop that sends it into the floor below. This is followed by a brief quake as Hariyama lands. Then, the rumbling starts again. "This is my favorite part of the day," Brawley says. The riptides around the island are kicking up, which means the geysers become more random, so this battle will become even more intense. Realizing that this could be a problem, Ash tells Vigoroth to remain calm. They need to focus, or the water could cost them this match. The normal type stops in place, becoming motionless as it listens to its surroundings. Brawley takes this as a chance to deal some serious damage, calling for a rock slide, but Vigoroth is ready as it steps aside with Ash's command, and a stream of water blocks the attack and thrusts Vigoroth in the air all at the same time. "Now use Crush Claw," Ash demands. The normal type uses the full weight of its attack to bring down on its opponent. However, Brawley seems unfazed, telling his Mon to remain still. They got this, to which he proves right when Hariyama is able to use a Vital Throw to counter the Crush Claw and send Vigoroth into the floor of the cave battlefield once more. Brawley then looks to end this as he orders another rock slide to bury Vigoroth. Thinking fast, Ash tells it to use a Crush Claw on the ground, compromising Hariyama's footing, causing it to miss the rock move and bring it face to face with Vigoroth. In this moment, Ash sees their path to victory, calling for a yawn the fighting type is unable to avoid. However, this does leave the normal type open to retaliation in the form of a Vital Throw that sends it flying across the battlefield once more. Realizing they only have one shot left, Brawley orders a knockoff to end this. However, Ash chooses to use Brawley's own tactic against him, as Vigoroth can feel the rumbling beneath it. Suddenly, a geyser erupts, and the normal type is sent skating across the battlefield as it charges a Crush Claw at the command of Ash. In a flash, both of them collide. However, there was a clear winner, as the drowsiness had set in, and Hariyama's movement had slowed ever so slightly, giving Vigoroth the moment it needed to strike first, dropping the fighting type and giving Ash the win. The boy can't believe it. He won. However, Brawley states that he can. The boy proved that he can wait for the right time to make his push to win the battle. This is a skill that Ash will need if he hopes to do well in the Hoenn League. Then, as proof that Ash had won at the Dewford gym, Brawley presents the boy with the Knuckle Badge, which Ash celebrates with Vigoroth. May and Brock both join the friend on the battlefield. They are proud of the progress that Ash has made while they were here on the island, to which the boy states he couldn't have done it without any of them. But there is one more badge to obtain, so it looks like they're heading to May's hometown. The girl smiles, but she knows deep down this could be a problem, as her brother is there, and he could be planning something else in retaliation for what she had done. And this is where we are going to end things for now. So tell me, how did you enjoy this part? How do you feel about Max being shipped off back home for all of the things that he has done? What about the arc that Ash had here with his Pokemon? Do you feel like he made great progress in the lessons that he had learned while on Dewford Island? Do you like the evolution that he had in Grumpig and that he was able to get his final ribbon for the Grand Festival? What about the progress of Grovyle and Vigoroth? Sephiroth. They both seem to be on track to discovering some sort of new power, but will Grovyle truly be able to master its own power? What about the battle that Ash had with Broly? Did you enjoy it? And are you excited because the next part, Ash challenges for his final badge of the region? The question is, will he win? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.